we need to build a culture of innovation. And I'm very glad that Ma'am Adaw talked about the growth mindset, because this talk is also about that. Building a culture of innovation starts from a growth mindset and onto building a culture of innovation. So this will be our agenda for today. First, we will talk about the role of innovation in digital transformation, because as a country, that's what we need to start instilling in our people. No? And as students of technology, that's also what you should take on as your mission, that we digitally transform those that we touch, the businesses that we talk to, the businesses that we help, and eventually even our government agencies, and then our entire nation. Now, in the course of my discussing how to build a culture of innovation, I'm going to start with a growth mindset. We need to start with an understanding of what a growth mindset entails. And then I will talk about what is innovation. But innovation should not be done just for the sake of innovation. No? Hindi tayo nag-innovate na para masabi lang na, naku, nag-innovate ako, nakaisip ako ng bagong paraan kung paano gagawin. Okay? Our innovation should become winning innovations. In other words, meron siyang purpose, meron siyang value. There should be enough impact of the innovation that we're creating. And then finally, how do we build an innovative culture? Okay, so let's start. What is the role of innovation in digital transformation? Well, first of all, we need to understand, ano ba yung digital transformation? Okay? In fact, I don't even call it digital transformation anymore. Kasi pag nadinig ng mga tao yung digital transformation, what do they hear first? They hear the word digital, right? Okay? And pag naisip na yung digital, ang unang pumapasok agad, ano yan? Technology yan. Ay, ano yan? Computer yan. Ay, ano yan? Gadget yan. Okay? So that by focusing on the digital, nakakalimutan yung transformation. Okay? And so people focus more on the technology. People focus more on how to use technology. No? Pagka nga nagre-review ako ng mga thesis ng mga estudyante, okay? The first thing I ask them is, ano yung problema ang sinasolve nyo? Okay? Because as students, normally, ang tendency nyo is you get excited about the technology. May nakikita kayo yung technology. Ay, nako, magandang gamitin ito. Okay? So, umisip ka na ng solution, wala kayong problema. Hindi mo alam kung saan mo problema i-apply. Okay? But the goal of digital transformation is really to create new and sustainable competitive advantages. It's to help, let's say, businesses. Okay? It's to help them be more competitive. It's to give them those advantages. It's not just to computerize, it's not just to automate, it's not just to say na, ay gumagamit kami ng latest technology. No, that is not the point. That is why instead of digital transformation, I call it now transformative digitalization. Okay? So that the focus will now be on the transformative rather than on the digitalization. Now, what is it that we need to do? When we transform, we need to think of new ways to be doing the old things that we've been doing. No, this is a quote that has been attributed to Albert Einstein. Of course, it's debatable if you search for it in Google. No, maraming kasabi na hindi naman daw totoo. But anyway, let's just focus on what is being said here. Ang sabi dito, pag ikaw, alam mo nang ito lang yung pinoproduce na result ng ginagawa mo, and then you still continue doing the same thing over and over again, then that's insanity. No? Mas matunog pag sa Tagalog, kabaliwan. Di ba? Okay? So pagka ikaw ay obsessed, no? Di ba? You keep on doing the same thing. Tapos hindi ka naman pinapansin ng crush mo. Di ba? So, kabaliwan naman talaga 'yon, di ba, no? Pero isip ka ng bagong paraan, di ba? Baka naman merong bagong o mas magandang paraan kung paano ma-attract. Now, there are 3 A's of digital transformation. We need to be adroit. Ano ba yung adroit? It's to be clever. It's to be resourceful. When you're faced with a situation, you figure out, no? What is the best way for me to approach this problem? But you should also be able to move quickly and easily. And that's the second A, which is agile. But you're not fixated, okay? Hindi yung porke Hindi, gusto ko tong technology na to eh. Maganda to. Pinipilit mo. Okay? You should also be adaptable. In other words, you're able or willing to change based on different situations. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you a video of a very good example of what our capacity to be innovative is all about.
Let me set it up for you. Let's say you are the CEO of a theater company in Spain, and you focus on comedy theater. Every night you run comedy shows at your theaters. One morning you wake up and you realize that the government has increased the tax rate from 8% to 21%. Translation, tonight nobody's going to show up. What do? How do you respond to this external shock? Think about it for 5 seconds, and then I'll show you exactly what these guys did. All right, have a look.
Pay per laugh, the first comedy shows where you only pay for what you consume. We fitted each seat with a facial recognition system that detects the smile and proposed the following deal to spectators. Entrance will be totally free. If the show produces no laughs, you don't pay anything. However, if you laugh, you have to pay for each smile. Each smile produced is worth 30 euro cents, something that in this day and age is quite a reasonable price. At the end of the show, the spectator could check their laughter account before paying and even share it on social networks. And so that no one would cry for having laughed more than they could afford, the maximum amount to pay was 80 laughs for 24 euros. The average price of the ticket increased by 6 euros. The system was covered by the main national media outlets, and this produced 35% more spectators. Each pay-per-laugh show produced 28,000 euros more ticket money than was normally taken. Currently, the system is being copied in other theatres in Spain. A mobile phone app was created as a system of payment, and the first season ticket was launched for the number of laughs not shown.
Okay, so this has practically given a new meaning to the saying. Dati meron sinasabi, libre yung papasok, pero may bayad yung palabas. Okay. So parang ganito, but they were very innovative about it, right? They charge you if you smile, if you're entertained, okay? And this was a response, no? Because when the government raised the tax, no, their initial thinking was that, ay naku, wala nang manonood, okay? But they were very innovative in their response. So let's look now at how we build a culture of innovation. It starts with the growth mindset. Nabanggit kanina ni Ma'am Adaw, Dr. Carol Dweck. No? In fact, this is being called the new psychology of success. It's really about the ability, the understanding that our abilities can be developed. Okay, so in other words, it's not being resigned. Pag sinabi mong, naku ma'am, hindi ko magagawa kasi wala po akong talent dyan. No? O inimbitahan kang kumanta. Okay? Hindi, wag na lang yung example na yun. Baka naman talagang mahirap yun. Pero yung ibang skills, right? Okay? Sometimes, you automatically resign yourself na, hindi ko kayanin yan kasi wala naman akong talent dyan eh. Okay? So we think that everything is about talent, but the growth mindset is arguing that no. Okay? If you embrace the desire to learn, if you embrace challenges, okay, then you go from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. Yung fixed mindset kasi is that we always think na, kaya ako nag-fail kasi talagang wala akong talent dyan eh. But, in a growth mindset, pag hindi umubra yung una mong thesis proposal, no? Kasi sabi mo, wala na, pigang-piga na yung utak ko, hindi na ako mapag-isip, okay? Instead, you take that as an opportunity to grow, okay? You look at what were the objections of your panel and try to think of how to redirect that, okay? Or how to rechannel your idea into something that is more worthwhile. In other words, challenges help you to grow, okay? Hindi yung sabi mo, I'm either good at it or I'm not, no? So my potential is predetermined. So pag ganun kasi, if you have a fixed mindset, when you're frustrated, you just give up. And you say, well, talagang hanggang dito lang ako. But no, a growth mindset, drives us. We look at failures not as failures but as challenges, as lessons to be learned. Okay? Alam nyo, meron ako napanood sa YouTube, no? Nung una, and I use this as an example, no? And I will show you later the YouTube link, no? Ako kasi, for the longest time, ang feeling ko, hindi ako marunong mag-drawing. Totoo naman, pag sumubukan ako mag-drawing, no? Mali-mali yung proportion, hindi ko, parang abstract ang dating, no? But then I watched this YouTube video, and the speaker was telling, no, everybody can learn how to draw. Okay? Oh, ito can I ask the participants to get a piece of paper and pen? No? Well, dapat may dala kayo, no? When you attend a conference like this, even if it's virtual, okay? Dapat lagi kayong merong notebook tsaka pen, no? Because you should always be in the habit of note-taking. Of course, ngayon, electronic na, no? Minsan sa phone mo na lang, o i-screenshot mo, okay? But it is always best to, So I'll give you a minute to grab a piece of paper and a pen, okay? Ako, ito gagamitin ko. And then, give me a thumbs up pagka meron na kayo. Please. Can we have a show of thumbs up? So, hanap kayo ng papel, please. Okay, meron na nag-thumbs up. Yung iba, nandiyan pa ba kayo? Ayun, meron. Okay. Si Ice Baby. Ang ganda naman ng pangalan nun. Okay. Sige. Okay, so I guess some of you are just shy to do a thumbs up. But bear with me. No? I think you will enjoy this. Okay. Yan, Sabi nung speaker, sabi niya, everyone can learn how to draw. Okay? And what he thought, the audience, were just a few simple strokes. Okay. Sabi niya, okay. So let's draw a cartoon character. Sabi niya, you start by drawing a nose. Nose yan, Tapos lagyan mo ng mata. Yung mata, parang 2 6 lang yan. Okay, medyo mahirap mag-shade dito ng mata, no? Pagtyagaan nyo na. Yan. Parang lasing yung mata, no? Okay. Tapos, lagyan mo ng tenga. Yung tenga, ganito lang daw yun. Gawa ka ng... Tapos, lagyan mo ng line. Tapos, lagyan mo ng buhok. Mga linya lang na ganun. Tapos, lagyan mo ng smile. Yung smile, oops. Ang hirap mag-ano dito sa... Yan. Ang hirap mag-drawing pala dito sa sa pen. Okay. Yung smile, ganyan lang. Ay, ba't ayaw na mag-drawing? Yan, pen. Ay, nako. Ano ba yan? Nawala. Ulit. Nose. Tenga. Mata. Spike ng mga buhok. Smile. Nanginginig yung kamay ko eh. Hirap eh. And then drop a line here. Drop another line there. Bigyan mo ng collar. Drop a line on the left. Drop a line on the right. Oh, di ba? And then you can call this character si Spike. Yan. Okay. So, and then I started thinking, nga, no? Simple strokes lang. A nose, an ear, eyes. Lagyan mo ng konting buhok. Okay? Give it a smile. And there you have it. So, it's just a matter of following some basic instructions. Okay? Drawing time back, iba pa. Sabihin natin, iba naman yung ilong. Matulis ang ilong, matangos. Pareho rin yung mata. Yan. Sundan nyo Gawin nyo dyan sa pen and paper nyo. Okay? Yung buhok, yan. Gawa lang tayong ganyan. Tapos ganun din, lagyan mo ng smile. Okay? Tapos from the nose, drop a line. Drop a line from the ear. Palitan mo ng konti yung collar. May mong v-neck. Drop a line on the left. Drop a line on the right. Oh, so let's call this character si Elsa. Okay. One more. Kabibigay ko din ng talk na to, na master ko na yung mga strokes na to, no? Ito naman, ibahin natin ng konti. Oh, lagyan mo ilong pa rin. Ay, laki ng ilong. Pangit. Pero pabayaan mo na, cartoon character naman ito eh. Lagyan mo ng tenga. Pero gawin mo salamin. Ayan. Ayan. Tapos, lagyan mo ng konting buhok dyan. Tapos walang buhok sa taas, kalbo. Lagyan mo ng bigote. Okay. Drop a line here, drop a line there. Lagyan mo ng collar. Okay. So let's call this character Pugo. So, what am I trying to say? Sige nga, tingnan nga natin. Meron ba sa inyong gumaya? Can you show on camera what you've done? Walang gusto magpakita ng kanilang drawing. Anyone
Ako po,
who
Sir Boogie, meron po akong drawing dito. Nakikita po ba?
Asan yung drawing mo? Ay, hindi nakikita
Dito
eh.
sa
Naka-background.
camera.
Ayan, yan,
Ayan.
yan. Oh, see, di ba? Huh?
Yan si Spike.
So,
Ito po si Elsa.
right. Okay. So, what the speak anyway, I'll show you the link, no, so that you will. Yan. You can find it here, no, and I'll be sharing this with the audience later. So in other words, no, this is an example of a growth mindset, no. Kasi even if you started thinking na hindi ako marunong, I can't draw, okay? But by just accepting the challenge and following a few basic strokes, you can do it, right? Okay? And that's what we are trying to say here, no? But innovation starts with that, okay? Before you can even think of innovating, you need to instill in yourself that mindset that this is a challenge, I can face it, I can think my way through it. So let's now look at what innovation is all about. Innovation is the creation of the new, or the rearranging of the old in a new way. It's like, and it has also something to do with being creative about it. You look at what you want to do, but you try to approach it in a creative way and come up with something that will be a new way of doing the same old thing. Let's look at this example. Your hair come alive. Apotec. Pangit lang nga ng pangalan, ano, Apotec. But you see the innovation there, right? They were able to create a new way of attracting the people in the platform with a billboard, no, with a that look interactive, no? Okay? Parang hinahangin yung buhok ng babae. So, if we understand now what innovation is all about, okay, the next step is to think that, you know, it should not just stop with innovation. It's not for innovation's sake. It's not about, you know, just coming up with something new or doing it in a new way. The innovations that we should start creating should be winning innovations. Now, in the stage of digital and exponential transformation, we have to continuously learn how to reinvent ourselves, no? We cannot just stand by and see things happen to us, okay? So when we think of new ways of doing things, it should be for the purpose of advancing our company, for the purpose of advancing our business, for the purpose of creating new and competitive advantages. And if we try to set targets for innovation, I'm using this acronym. I use Thrive. These are some areas that businesses can look into. How do you triumph over competition? How do you hone your brand image? Okay. How do you reduce costs? So these are the things that you can look at in a company and then think of ways to make this happen. No? How do you increase productivity? How do you validate your market relevance? No? Is my company producing things that are still useful or that creates value or creates impact to my target audience? And then the last one is, how do I expand my linkages and partnerships? So you need to come up with better and more responsive, more relevant products. No? You don't just come up with an idea and think that it will be liked by people if you don't even know what it is solving, right? It should be enhancing existing processes. Okay. You should start looking at how you are going to work with new partners. Okay. Upgrading to more modern technology. And by modern technology, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be expensive. Okay. And when you look at your business model, you always equate it to market relevance. Okay. Is what I'm doing as a business something that still resonates with my target audience? Okay. That's why when you talk about your products later, no, when you showcase the products that your students have invented, no, one of the things that they need to focus on is that continuous feedback mechanism. Okay, that is what separates an inventor from an entrepreneur. Yung inventor, he falls in love with his idea. Meron siyang kinreate, tapos pag dinala mo sa market, and then your market does not seem to be responding to it, anong attitude nung inventor? Ayaw niya, wag, di ba? Parang ganon, no? There's ego. But an entrepreneur, and that's what you need to become. You should be technology entrepreneurs. You adapt to the market, okay? You find out what they need. And if your solution is something that does not resonate with them, then you figure out how to tweak it so that it will truly address their needs. And that's what we mean by revisiting and revising your business model. Okay. It's not just about the product, but how people respond to the product so that it can create a revenue stream for you. And it's all about adaptation. Okay. If there are changes in the market environment, then you look at it and then you develop new ideas and then you test them in the marketplace. Now, okay, I'll give you an idea. Normally, pag nag-iisip ka ng, makinig kayo mabuti kung hindi man kayo nakikinig kanina, ito, pakinggan nyo mabuti to kasi makakatulong ito sa inyong thesis. Okay. Usually, ang sinasabi nyo, ang hirap mag-isip ang hirap mag-isip ng problemang isosolve. Okay. But I'll give you a tip. One reason why you're having difficulty is because, no, the way that we have been introduced to it is, ang pinapahanap sa atin, pain points. Pain points, pain points, pain points. Right? Diba? Pain points. Okay naman yun, no? That's a valid thing to look at. But when you just focus on the pain points, more often than not, it's difficult to find a solution. Okay? Why? I'll give you an example. Sabi ko doon sa mga estudyante ko, I taught technopreneurship at Asia Pacific College for a long time, no, before I retired in 2020. Sige nga, bigyan nyo ako ng anong pain point mo? Sabi ng mga bata, sir, ang haba ng pila sa MRT. Tama naman, that's a pain point, right? No? It's a cause of pain. Okay. Sige, anong solution? Wala silang maisip, nahihirapan sila mag-isip. Sabi ko, alam niyo kung bakit kayo nahihirapan? It's because you are focusing on the pain. Okay? But if you try to think of it, what makes the pain a pain? What makes a problem a problem? Okay? Isip sila. Ano nga ba? Bakit nga ba? Okay. I'll tell you what. It's about expectations. Ang isang problema, nagiging problema kasi meron kang gusto mangyari pero hindi nangyayari. In other words, umaasa ka, kaya ka nasasaktan. Oh, di ba? Okay. So, try to look at it from the point of view of your user. Don't focus on the pain. Isipin mo, ano ba yung expectation? So, they went out, they did research, they asked the commuters, and when they came back, sabi nila, Sir, sabi po nung mga riders, ang expectations nila, that's why yung mahabang pila is a pain, is gusto ko kasi pagdating ko sa stasyon, sasakay na lang ako. And that was a very clear expectation. And then they started thinking along those lines, no? So, if you're going to think of a solution, it should be something that should meet the expectation, right? Okay? So, bigla na-excite sila, sabi nila, Sir, baka pwedeng mag-tap doon sa CCTV ng platform. And then, i-display namin sa mobile app, right? So that yung commuter, no, bago siya pumunta sa stasyon, titingnan niya, ay, ang haba pa ng pila. Okay? Hindi mo na ako pupunta. Oh, may bibilin muna ako, kakain muna ako. And then later, pagkita ko, ay, wala nang pila. O, akit na ako, pupunta na ako, right? Why? Because ang expectation ko, gusto ko pagdating ko sa stasyon, sasakay na lang ako. And that's how you develop your ideas. That's how you develop your solutions. Parang ito, di ba? O, dahil adik ang mga tao sa text, yan. No? Ayoko nang itaas pa yung ulo ko para makita ko kung ano yung traffic sign. O, lagay mo sa sahig. Diba? Ang galing, no? Konsentidor. Para sa mga tao na lagi nang te-text. You know? Alam nyo, ang Pilipinas, no? Isa tayo sa number 1, ano, pagdating sa, no? Nung panahon na SMS pa lang, text pa lang, we were even the text capital of the world, right? Hulaan nyo kung ilan how many text messages were being sent from the Philippines. Can you type on the chat? Tingnan nga natin. Sige nga. Hulaan nyo, ilan? Palagay nyo, ilan how many, when we were being called the texting capital of the world, okay? How many text messages do you think were being sent from the Philippines? 4 million. Oy, 60 million. Okay, millions. Uy, nakuha ni Mark. Tama, 400 million text messages per day. Could you imagine that? No? And that was ano lang yan, ha? Mga early 2000 yan. Kasi 1998 na introduce yung texting, right? Yung SMS, no? So around early 2000, we were sending 400 million text messages per day. Okay? Tapos sabi nila 20% of those were K. Oh, di ba? K. Ang mahal na letter nun, no? 80 million per day. Okay. We were so addicted to it that at one point, binabasa akong balita, sabi doon sa balita, kumakain, nagte-text, nabilaukan, namatay. Yung pangalawa, sabi, tumatawid, nagte-text, nahulog sa manhole, namatay. Yung pangatlo, sabi, tumatawid, nagte-text, nasagasaan, namatay. Yung pang-apat, yung pinaka-nakakalungkot, sabi doon sa balita, nagte-text, walang makatext, nagpakamatay. Hindi, joke lang yun, joke lang yun. Baka inaantok na kayo eh. Pero sa totoo lang yung mga text na yan, no? Madami nang sinirang relasyon yan eh, no? Meron nga mag-boyfriend eh. Hindi naman yata taga FEU to eh, no? Pero one day, ba't ba ayaw na umandar nung ano ko? Yan. One day, may nag-text dun sa boyfriend. Sabi, mahal na mahal kita. Sana mahalin mo rin ako. Eh, hawak pala nung girlfriend yung cellphone. Sumugot yung girlfriend. Sabi niya, jowa niya to. Aba, hindi pa rin tumigil yung nagte-text. Nag-send ulit. Pasa mo ito sa 15 katao at matutupad lahat ng wish mo. After a few days, Bumawi si boyfriend, sabi, babe, sorry sa late reply. Namatay phone ko, nagloloko kasi. Ano sabi ng girlfriend niya? Eh, di ba nagloloko ka rin? Ba't di ka namamatay? So, we go now to the last part. How then do we build an innovative culture? Well, I've created the 6-point guide to problem solving and innovation. And it's all about this: curiosity, immersive observation, inclusivity, and so on. Let's look at it one by one. Let's look at curiosity. For the longest time, we've heard this. Sabi, necessity is the mother of invention. Pero alam niyo kung sino father? I believe that the father of invention is curiosity. Okay? Because curiosity raises questions. What, how, why, etc. And questions lead to discoveries. So curiosity inspires, discovery reveals. So that's one of the first things that you need to be, no? When you want to innovate, when you want to come up with your project, be curious about it. Okay? Si Archimedes was curious about paano ko ba ipoprove na yung king's crown was made entirely of gold. Okay? And he discovered the principle of buoyancy. Okay? And this is the discovery of how ships float. Boyle was very curious about gases. He invented an air pump, and then he discovered the relationship between pressure and volume of a gas, which is the more popular Boyle's law. Newton was curious about how a rainbow formed, how sunlight was reflected off a lake, no? So katitingin niya, nagtataka siya, bakit kaya ganun? Bakit ganyan, di ba? No? Nung bata kasi kayo, ganun kayo eh, di ba? No? Tanong kayo ng tanong, Mami, bakit ganito? Bakit ganito? Oh, eh kaya lang, no? Ay, ba't tanong ka ng tanong? Dahil mong tanong. Oh, na-suppress tuloy, no? Bring that back. Bring back that natural curiosity in you. So Newton eventually discovered the laws of reflection and refraction. Here's an example, no? Okay. Ayaw mag-play nung ano ko ah. Wait ha. Ito ang problema pagka ginamit mo yung ano eh, yung highlighter. It starts pag naka ano ko. I'll shift to my ano. I'll shift to my PowerPoint slide. Wait let me stop my sharing and let me share again. Okay. Okay, let me go back. Sorry about that. Hirap ng tech eh, no? Yan.
South Korea is a unique market. Tesco has been evolving itself, adjusting to the local market. It even changed the name itself from Tesco to Home Plus. And at last, it grew to rank number 2 in Korea. But Tesco had to overcome one obstacle: a fewer number of stores compared to the number 1 company, E-Mart. Mission: could we become number 1 without increasing the number of stores? We made an in-depth study into Koreans once more. Koreans are the second most hardworking people in the world. For them, grocery shopping once a week is a dreaded task. So we decided to approach these busy and tired people. Idea: let the store come to the people. We created virtual stores, hoping to blend into people's everyday lives. Our first try was subway stations. Although virtual, the displays were exactly the same as actual stores, from the display to the merchandise. Only one thing was different: you use smartphones to shop. Scan the QR code with your phone and the product automatically lands in your online cart. When the online purchase is done, it will be delivered to your door right after you get home. People can relax more after work and on weekends.
Okay, so again, no, the innovation was based on a clear understanding of what the problem is, and not just the pain point, but what were the expectations. Now, the second element, the 6-point guide to problem solving in innovation is immersive observation. Now, meron kasi yung detached observation that you just observe from afar. But immersive observation is being involve yourself in the process. So when you do your research, you should try to understand, you put yourself in the shoes of your target audience. Okay? Find out how they feel, how they experience things, etc. Okay? Sometimes kasi, no, we get distracted, right? No? And watch this video.
The door study. This video shows a participant from a 1998 study by Daniel Simons and Daniel Levin. Watch what happens as the unsuspecting pedestrian provides directions. The young man on the left is one of the experimenters. He has approached the white-haired man and asked for directions. Watch closely as two people carrying a door pass between them, and the first experimenter is replaced by someone else. Like many of the people in this study, the pedestrian was entirely unaware that he was talking to a different person. Approximately 50% of the people approached in this study didn't notice when the person they were talking to was replaced by someone else.
Okay. So, yun yung minsan na yung problema, no? We have this difficulty of paying attention, okay? Or maybe being attentive to the details, okay? But if we are going to have that problem solving and innovation capacity, we need to exercise and learn to develop in ourselves that capacity to have immersive observation, okay? Sige, I'll give you I think I'm running out of time, no? I'll try to wrap up in 5 minutes, ha? Sorry, pasensya na. Okay, so ito. Look at this paragraph and then count the number of Fs. Okay, bilangin nyo ilan yung F. And then may timer sa baba, umaandar. You're given about 2 minutes, no, to work it out. So bilangan nyo ilan lahat yung F dito sa paragraph na to. And then if you got it, start typing on the chat box. Ilan na bilang nyo. Yan, may mga nagtatype na. Bibilis magbilang. Tama naman kaya. Okay. Time's up. Okay, tingnan natin. Ilan ang tinype nyo? Okay, ayan. Merong 26, 27. You know, okay, ito. Tuwing bibigay ko to, I noticed that pag mas bata, mas konti lang nakikita. Tapos yung mga nakikita ng 33, 35, usually yung mas matatanda. No? So pagka nakita natin yung alam na natin, mas matanda yun. Yan. Oy, may 33. Okay, may 37. 31. Okay, now. So kitang-kita dito pa lang right, di ba? No? So many of you, and yet you counted differently. Yung iba 27 lang nakita, 26. Okay. Tingnan natin kung ilan talaga, no? Ang pinakamataas na nakita ko 37, but let's look at how many. 2, 3, 4, yun. Okay. Naku, forefathers, dalawa pala yung F doon, hindi napansin. Pabilisan na natin, ilan lahat? 38. Okay? Now, what did we miss? Una-una yung F, yung middle F na yun sa forefather. Marami doon, hindi napapansin yun. Yung mga 20s lang yung na bilang, usually lang hindi nila nakita yung 4. Kasi maliit na word eh. No? So we discount its smallness. Ang pinakamadalas na hindi nakikita is yung of. Not only is it small, but the F is at the end. And it becomes even more insignificant. So practice, immersive observation. The third element of my 6-point formula is inclusivity. Okay? So in a company, in a business, when I come in and I teach them digital transformation, I tell them, you have to include even your rank and file employees, your frontliners, because sometimes the innovation can come from them, because they're the ones who are faced with your clients. So sometimes they have a better appreciation of the situation. Okay, so include everyone in your company. Don't just leave it to the tech guys. Don't just leave it to the managers. Don't just leave it to the administrators. Okay, include everyone, because the ideas can originate from any level in the business. So entertain suggestions, even from external stakeholders like your customers or your suppliers and your other business partners. Okay, and then strengthen an environment of communication. So maybe you can create an online platform where people can share their ideas. The fourth element is optimism. We need to be cognizant of the fact that sometimes some of our ideas will fail. But I like this quote from Thomas Edison. Yung nag-invento nung bulb, right? He was testing different types of materials for the filament. And there were 700 items, that didn't work out. And when he was asked, did you fail 700 times? No, I have not failed once. I have succeeded in proving that those 700 ways will not work. So that's a positive attitude. That's optimism. That if you just persevere and be patient, eventually you'll find a solution. Number 5 is about progressive iteration. Okay, you keep on tweaking your solution. You keep on going back to your customer. You keep on going back to your user, finding out their response, finding out their feedback. Okay, so the innovation process goes through this. You explore, you try, and then you do it, and then you go back and explore some more, because your first solution would probably not be your last. Okay, so you keep on iterating progressively until you come up with a viable solution. And then the last one is adamance. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Whoa!
Can we take a picture with you?
Okay. All right, great. Let's go. Here you go. 3.
Excuse me. I don't know how to buy this ticket. Yeah. Is there a karaoke near here?
Well, let me cut the video short. I'm running out of time. So this looks like a very good product, right? Okay, but let's look at the painstaking effort it took to build it.
最初僕たちもその翻訳アプリの開発からスタートしました。で実際にいろんな人にこれ使ってもらって旅行者の皆さんですね。でフィードバックもらったんですけど、使えない。誰も使ってくれなかったんです。なぜですかって聞いたんですけど、やっぱりその最初の問題がその Wi-Fi でした。確かに海外旅行に行った時ってなかなかその Wi-Fi を探しても繋がらないと。繋がったとしてもなかなかそのスピードが出ない。実際によし使おうと思った時にあれ使えないみたいなところが起きてます。あとやっぱりそのスマートフォンってこういう風にコミュニケーションをするようにできていないので、実際にその自分が話した時にスピーカーの音がこっちから出てきて相手側が何言ってるか聞こえないみたいな感じだったりとか、あと自分の世界にどうしてもこれスマートフォンで入っているので目線がこっちになってしまって相手側がその聞き耳を持ってくれないことが起きています。で僕がその一番驚いたのは最初の双方向で会話できるっていう機能をつけてたんですけども、その機能を使えば使うほど逆に皆さんが使わなくなってしまう。なぜかなって思った時に、初対面の人にいきなり物をバッと差し出して相手が使い方も知らないですし、 例えば長文だったり固有名詞の翻訳が難しいよっていうルールを伝えることも難しい。そうなるとやっぱりその複数回その無意味なやり取りが発生してしまってすごいストレスがたまるんですね。そうするとみんなが使わなくなることが起きてしまいます。なのでいろいろその検証をしていく中で少しでも余計な時間がかかったりとか少しでもストレスがたまるとたとえその翻訳機能があったとしても使われなくなることが分かるようになりました。そこで僕たちはそのイリーをとにかくそのスピードをこだわりました。ポケットから出してすぐに使える。ハロー。ネット接続も必要ないですし最速で 0.2 秒で翻訳ができます。一方向にそのこだわったことによって使用頻度も逆に上がりましたし満足度も上がりました。やっぱり僕が一番好きなのはその相手の目を見ながらこのコミュニケーションができる。やっぱそのコミュニケーションを円滑にするためのものなのでそこがすごい重要なポイントです。
Okay, again, let me cut that short. No? So I think the lesson is clear. Don't focus on technology. Focus on how your users are experiencing your technology. Because that's where the solution lies. If you can't hit them at the spot where they are using it, where they can relate to your technology, then your technology remains irrelevant. Okay, no matter if it's a very high tech or a very good or a very advanced technology, if it does not meet your users' expectations, your users' needs, then you remain to be irrelevant. So just keep on going. No. Sabi again ni Thomas Edison, our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. I tell my students, do not give up when life puts a stumbling block in front of you. Climb on top and get a better view of the horizon. So be persistent. But being persistent does not mean being obstinate. Ano yung obstinate, no? Yun yung sabi kanina, insanity, di ba? If it's not producing the correct results, don't stick to it, no? Find other ways of doing it. Sometimes failures are just God's way of pulling you back from where you're going because you're not facing the right direction. Yung failures parang multiple choice exam lang yan eh, di ba? So pag meron kang choice, shade mo, right? O, kung gusto mo magpalit, X mo tapos shade ka ng iba. Kung gusto mo magpalit, X ka na naman, shade ka ng iba. Gusto mo magpalit, X mo ulit, shade ka ng iba. O, pero kung na-X mo na lahat, punta ka na kaya doon sa next question. No? Mukhang hindi mo talaga alam yung sagot. Ano moral lesson of the story? Huwag mo nang balikan mga ex mo, mag-move on ka na. When obstacles arise, you change your direction to reach your goal. You do not change your decision to get there. So with that, I thank you for being a wonderful audience. Thank you for listening. And maybe we can still have time for some question and answer. Thank you.
That was a very insightful talk that was given to us this morning. Partner, tama di ba?
Totoo, partner. Isa sa mga na-stuck talaga sa isip ko ay yung sinabi ni Sir Boogie na our innovation should be winning innovation. As a computer science student, dapat ito talaga ang mindset natin. Hindi lang basta-basta at hindi lang dapat mema project lang tayo. We should invest time, invest knowledge, and together let us help our community with our winning innovations. How about you, partner? Ano bang nakuha mo dito sa talk?
Tama ka dyan, partner. Sa akin naman, sobrang powerful ng talk ni Sir Boydon. Ang sa akin, yung tumatak sa akin, partner, ay yung talk about the differences between the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. We must have a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset, because we can do everything if we believe and we trust ourselves. Try new things. It's alright to fail because it is part of the process of growing. So we must do something now.
I agree, partner. Innovation starts with instilling yourself to take challenges and allowing yourself to grow from your failures. For me, partner, it's either we win or we learn. We never lose as long as we are learning. Sabi nga ni Sir Boogie kanina, we look at failures as a lesson to be learned. Now, once again, let's give a positive reaction for Mr. Boydon. With that being said, we would like to leave the floor open for those students who have questions for our speaker.
Kala ko tumatak sa inyo yung mag-move on ka na eh.
Hindi po.
Yung isa rin po yung...
Kasama na daw yun, sir.
Kasama po yun, sir.
Huwag na rin po umasa.
Andito ba si Sir Henji? Teacher niyo ba si Sir Henji?
Hindi po. IT po siya, sir.
Sa IT siya, CS ito.
Opo.
Henji Vicente.
Guys, any questions?
Question.
So dito may isa tayong question galing kay John Kenneth Andales. Sir, are you with Thomas Edison or Nikola Tesla? As Edison commercialized it and Tesla invented.
Akala ko yung tanong kung kasing edad ko si Edison saka si... Yeah, as I've said, okay, as you should be techno-entrepreneurs, no? And then yung mindset, magkaiba kasi, no? Between an inventor and an entrepreneur. An inventor is just, as happy with just getting something new, no? But for you to have practical application, practical usage of people, you need to commercialize it. You need to find out what resonates with your audience, and then focus on that. No, keep on tweaking your invention so that it becomes something that is truly useful, with value and with impact. Yun yung importante.
Any questions pa, guys?
Ikaw, Carl, meron ka bang partner? Meron ka bang tanong dyan? Para kayo,
Sir Boydon, para sa akin po, what are your advice for aspiring entrepreneurs who do not know where to start yet?
What do you mean, Okay. For aspiring entrepreneurs, the most important thing I think is that you need to have that passion for solving problems. Okay, that's important. Because if you're able to solve problems, people will be willing to pay for it. Okay, if you can alleviate people's pain points, people would be willing to pay for it, and that is what turns out a successful entrepreneur. No, when you're able to solve people's problems. So find out, what you're good at. Find out how it can be applied to solve people's problems, and I think that's where you start. No. Don't think about the money. Money should be the least of your problems. Of course, it's easier said than done. Kasi pag nandun ka na at kinakapos ka ng puhunan ang kapital, it's also still very difficult. But as long as you have a good idea, the money will come.
Thank you po, sir. May iba pa po bang questions from other student po?
Si Ma'am Elisa pala nandito. Judge siya.
Good morning, Sir Boogie. Thank you for coming po as a speaker. Salamat sa time. God bless po.
Nice to see you. Ay, hindi pala kita nakikita.
Sir, may last question po dito. As CSE
Sige.
students, how can we build the culture of innovation into this setup and with limited resources? For the last question.
Okay. Remember that a culture of innovation is a mindset. So in other words, it starts with our mind and our attitude. No? Yung resources, hindi totoong limited yun. Hindi totoong limited yung resources. Okay? You will be surprised. Some people have created innovations from junk materials. Could you imagine that? Right? Diba? Mga tinapon na ng ibang tao. Okay? Pero nagawan nila ng innovation. Right? So, don't think of the limit. Again, growth mindset. No? Don't focus on the limitations, okay? But focus on the innovation that you're trying to do, and the ideas will come, no? Kasi nga, it's all about having a growth mindset.
Thank you for that answer, Sir Boogie. Meron po tayong last question dito, pahabol lang po. Sir, can you give tips on how to develop and train the self from fixed to growth mindset, especially if faced with tons of hardships and criticism?
Okay. There's nasaan yung libro ko? There's a good book by Ryan Holiday. Okay. It's called Ego is the Enemy. Okay. And that's that's something that I think you should start reading. No? Kasi from the tone of the question, it looks like what is bugging you down is more of the negative feedback coming from other people. Okay, but you know, being sensitive to those negative feedback is just really all about ego. Okay, so learn to put aside the ego first. No, because hindi importante yung mga criticism, no? If you focus on the negative things, it will not help you. Okay. A growth mindset comes from being ready to face challenges. In other words, no, that you do not accept that you, even if people say that you're just limited to this and that, you don't accept that, and you seek for new ways to learn how to overcome those limitations. Okay? Yung utak natin, you know, you'd be surprised. Sabi nila, we're just using 10% of it, of its capacity. So if we put our mind to it, we can really learn anything new. Okay? Sometimes medyo siguro mas matagal, no? Pero if we persevere, eventually we will be able to do it, no? Ito, okay. I used to do this, but if you go to my Facebook page, you'll see a video of me, no? Because when I was in college, nung unang lumabas to 1980s, okay, we were one of those who were doing this at, you know, less than 30 seconds, ano. My all-time high was, I think, at 17 seconds yata, no? Pero may iba mga 7 seconds, okay. Tapos siyempre senior na ako, no? Tapos nakita ko ulit, sabi ko, parang hindi ko na maalala kung ano yung mga algorithm, parang hindi ko na maalala kung paano, no? But I did not accept that, no? So I started to try to learn it again, no? And well, lo and behold, no? Of course, mas mabagal na ako ngayon. Takes me about a minute or so to finish the cube. But I can still finish it, no? And so that's a growth mindset.
Thank you po, sir. Looks like that's all of the questions for our dear speaker today, partner. Sir Boydon, ask ko
Yes.
lang po kung ano po yung pwedeng contact details po na pwede niyo pong maibigay po sa akin for the further questions po na pwede po kita.
I'll type it on the, you can, yeah, it's contact me at boogieboydon.com, and then that's my personal website, boogieboydon.com. I have also other contact details there, like my Facebook page, my Facebook account, my LinkedIn account. So they can all connect with me there.
So, ayun guys, if meron pa kayong questions kay Sir Boydon, pwede nyo siyang i-contact dyan sa binigay niyang email address.